known as the most mysterious case in Australia's history of the Somerton Man. On the early morning of December 1st, 1948, a man's dead body was found against a wall at Somerton Beach. The man had no ID on him and all tags on his clothing had been torn off. Intriguing investigators, they looked further, finding many odd items on his belonging, like a laundry list, a second-class rail ticket to Henley Beach, which was 12.5 thousand miles away from where he was found. Inside his trousers, the investigators also found a scrap of paper on the last page of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, which was a rare book of Persian poetry. On the piece of paper, it wrote, "Taman Shud," translating to, "It is finished." After a long-winded search and finding the book in which the torn paper came from, a man came forward saying he found the book in the back seat of his car, which was parked near Somerton Beach. When investigators turned to the tore page, they found a handwritten cipher, presumably written by the Somerton Man moments before his death. Expert cryptographers analyzed the cipher, but to no avail, as they seemed it wasn't long enough to establish a pattern. However, within the cipher there was a mysterious phone number, which was linked to Jessica Thompson. Upon investigating Thompson, the police found her to have no ties with the Somerton Man, despite witnesses saying the man was seen knocking on Thompson's house the previous day. At the autopsy, the coroner deemed the death of Somerton Man to be foul play, due to the man being healthy and strong. However, toxicology tests have been inconclusive. The Somerton Man mystery remains to be one of the most mysterious and interesting cases still unsolved. With government officials refusing to exhume the body, it's entirely possible that we will never find out the real stages that led up to the death of the Somerton Man.
Oscar is a cat that lives in Steer House Nursing and Rehabilitation Center in Providence, Rhode Island. Oscar was one of the 6 cats the nursing home adopted. However, within 6 months, staff at the nursing home noticed something odd about Oscar. For more than 2 years, Oscar was present in the room of every person who died in a nursing home a couple of hours before they died. Oscar has successfully predicted 50 deaths at the nursing home, and although experts have made hypotheses of why Oscar does this, nobody truly understands how and why Oscar is able to predict each death that occurs at Steer Nursing Home.
Agatha Christie was and is still known as the queen of detective novels, but in 1926, she disappeared from her home without a trace. On the early morning on the 3rd December, Agatha's car was found at Newlands Corner, perched above the chalk quarry. Inside the car was a driving license and clothes. Investigators were called to the scene and they suspected murder, and with the public's interest, began a manhunt for Agatha. 11 days had passed until Agatha was found in a Swan Hydropathic Hotel in Harrogate, Yorkshire, 200 miles away from where her car was last found. Throughout her life, Agatha said very little about her disappearance. However, what she did say was that, "For about 24 hours I wandered in a dream, and then found myself in Harrogate as a well-contented and a perfectly happy woman who believed she had just came from South Africa." Many people suspect that she disappeared in order to teach her husband a lesson, or to frame him and his mistress for her death. However, this does not explain as how she traveled 200 miles to Yorkshire without anybody recognizing her.
The case of Gina Winchester is an interesting and yet seamlessly eerie real-life story. In October 1980, Gina Winchester was in a car with her friend Leslie Scott driving along the Seaboard Avenue in Jacksonville, Florida. Then mysteriously out of nowhere, Gina burst into flames, screaming, "Get me out of here!" Leslie tried to put out the fire, but her attempts were unsuccessful as the flames engulfed most of Gina's body. When police arrived to the vehicle, they said they found no evidence of spilled petrol, the white leather seat she was sitting in was a little brown, and the door panel had a little black spot on it, but besides that, there was no evidence of fire damage. Gina survived the incident with severe burns, but recalled at the hospital that she wasn't a smoker, so no cigarettes would have caused the fire, and her car window was up, so nothing flammable would have been thrown in. Gina believed the events that occurred to her were due to spontaneous human combustion, which is a term regarding the combustion of a living human body without any external source of ignition. The detectives were left not knowing how the fire had started, and it still remains a mystery to this very day.
Teos is a town in northern New Mexico's high desert. but that's not the only thing it's known for. In fact, it's most known for having an elusive low-frequency humming noise that many of the people at Teos can hear. These people claim that they have heard the noise since they were young and describe it as an annoying low-frequency sound that sounds like a distant pump. Despite these claims, however, nobody else outside of Teos can hear these sounds, and scientists from the state's national laboratories have tried to supply answers for this mysterious hum, but none have offered an explanation for the noise completely.
In 1912, a Polish book dealer purchased a strange handwritten manuscript detailing 240 still remaining pages of many diagrams, as well as containing text of an unknown language. The location of where the manuscript may have come from is still debatable, but it is speculated that it was composed in northern Italy during the Italian Renaissance, based on the illustrations. The manuscript is quite controversial, as nobody truly knows of its origin, as well as the many diagrams and illustrations described within the manuscript. The manuscript covers a vast selection of sections, like astronomical illustrations, biological drawings and recipes. However, despite being worked on by the best cryptographers in the world, the Voynich manuscript has had no recent breakthroughs regarding what any of the symbols or text means. The manuscript contains 240 known pages. However, it is thought that there are pages missing from the manuscript that the author didn't want the reader to see.
I want to thank MorbidMinds, SwampDweller, Shenaotic and ThePsychoProject all for being in this video. They are a great inspiration for me and my videos, and they deserve all the love that they get. If you haven't already subscribed to them, I surely recommend that you do. I hope you all enjoyed, and thanks for watching.